Five, four, three, two, one.
Hello and welcome to Side Income Planet, and you must start your own side income earner today. In the next 10 minutes, we're going to cover quite a lot of ground, and the first one is, what exactly is a side income earner, or often called a side income hustle? Well, it's anything you do which creates another source of income for you, and it's in addition to whatever your primary income is. It may actually be bigger than your primary income. It could be that you're a school teacher, that's your primary income, but that you earn a side income from music royalties, and those music royalties are more than your pay as a school teacher. That's just an easy example. We call it a side income earner because it's not magical money made overnight. It's money that you have to earn, that you have to put effort into to create a sustainable, ongoing side income to help you over however long you're interested in sustaining that. The key thing about a side income is it means that you don't have all your money eggs in one basket. You are not relying on a single source of income. And nowadays, that is really important. Just before we go on to the reasons why it's really important, please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Give us a thumbs up and please click the bell, and then you'll get all our latest updates. Leave a comment if you'd like to. So, how do people make money on a side income? There's many, many different ways. It could be that you have an online business. It could be that you make a side income as an influencer on social media. You might have a part-time job. It may be that you're a gardener, that you are a handyman who helps people out. Could be that you're an event planner, that you organize weddings, parties, and other types of events. Or it might be that you own and maintain a number of properties which you can make a rental income from as time goes on. The important thing for you to understand today is that the world of employment is changing fast. Jobs which existed decades ago have gone. Nobody employs rows and rows of typists anymore. Nobody employs people to connect telephone cables. Of course they don't. We've forgotten about all of those. But think about all the other jobs and how they have changed. Projectionists in cinemas existed not many years ago, but now as a job, it's disappeared. Lift attendants, people who laid the typesetting for newspapers, for books, all of those jobs have gone. Even taxi drivers, drivers of lorries, drivers of normal vehicles. With artificial intelligence, those jobs are increasingly under pressure and likely to disappear. Think about how we move everything around the world. In days gone by, we used people called stevedores, dock workers, to manually load and unload ships. And now you go to a container port and they are busy, busy places, but without humans, all turned over to machinery and automatic processes. We rely so much on call centres to support businesses that we are a part of. And yet there are estimates that 80% of call centre staff will disappear in the next 2 years because chatbots will replace them and will take over, taking on the 80% responses, leaving just the problem issues to be dealt with by a small cohort of humans. Even when we travel, we don't always have to go through a customs or a passport control that is manned by a human. Now with passport readers, we again are replacing the human element so that whoever is employed can be on more important tasks, and actually lower skilled people need not be employed at all. In supermarkets, we've done away with many of the cashiers, many of the people working at checkout so that we can do self-checkout. Automation has enabled that. And finally, we don't even have people manually building all of our cars and vehicles and physical products anymore. Machines directed by computers are more accurate, more reliable, don't need to sleep, don't need to stop for lunch, don't need to go to the toilet, and are replacing us in jobs. And so with all of that, you should be thinking that actually, if you don't have a side income, if you are reliant on one form of employment for your income, then you are now vulnerable and at risk. PwC, the consultancy company, came out with a report at the end of 2019, and they said that 3% of jobs are at risk of automation in the next couple of years, 3% of jobs worldwide. That 30% of jobs would be at risk by the mid-2030s, and of that, 44% of those workers with low education would be at risk of automation and losing their jobs by then. The imperative for you to create alternative lines of income to support your lifestyle has never been higher. And here we have just a few of the sectors that are likely to be most at risk: the transport sector, financial services, even the health sector. But how is all of this being affected right now with coronavirus? If you look on Google Trends, you see how people are conducting searches and the volume of searches. You get an idea for the volume of searches which are taking place across Google. And they give you a metric which shows how much people are interested in. And look here at just a number of those that have dropped off over the last 6 weeks of the coronavirus outbreak. Restaurants, package holidays, hairdressers, Premier League football, car repair, they have all nosedived from having very, very high levels of interest in the case of Premier League football, as an example, to mid-teens of interest as a percentage and activity across Google. And then there's the other way around as well. There are things that people had no interest in at all back in January, which have suddenly spiked and grabbed our attention. Hand sanitizer, more information about being self-employed, more information about things like Netflix and how to keep us occupied, more information about how to take on online courses, because other people, your competitors, other people are out there looking at how they can create their own side incomes. So before I go on to anything else, here's why you shouldn't take on a side income earner. The first is, if you struggle to manage your time, if already you are snowed under and cannot achieve the things that you have to do, and that is completely acceptable. It may be that you have a young family and they right now are soaking up your time. But even if that is the case, don't let that stop you from thinking about it and planning for the future. If you're struggling to balance everything, taking on a side income earner means that you have to take on a whole load more tasks, and you have to be able to prioritize them, and you have to balance them with the time that you have available and everything else which is happening in your life at that moment in time. And then you have to be able to manage your energy. Starting a side income earner takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of commitment. It will take more hours at the start than it will once you've got it going. And you have to be prepared to put that in. You have to have the drive and the commitment and the energy to overcome all of the challenges which you will face to get that going. So I'll finish with some final thoughts as to why you should take on and start a side income. Firstly, it's easier to create several small side income earners than it is to create a single large one. If you can create a number of smaller streams, each producing £500 a month, then it is easier to build up to £1,500 or £2,000 of additional income than it is to create a side income earner which is earning you something in the region of £2,000. We are in the age of the internet. When I showed you those photos of telephonists, they could speak to places around the country, possibly to other countries, but it was difficult. It has never been easier for you to communicate. And if you have something that you are able to sell, that you want to sell, that you want to put out there, it has never been easier for you to make that accessible for other people. So it is as easy for you to speak to somebody in Brazil as it is somebody in Finland or in Singapore. You can all do it. People who succeed in creating their own side incomes are not all people with PhDs. They are not all people with professional careers and great qualifications behind them. They are people who have commitment and drive and realize that they have something to sell. And many, many people have created their own successful side incomes and gone on to build them into great companies without any qualifications. Every one of you out there can do this. In the United Kingdom, it's thought that nearly 50% of people under the age of 30 have at least two forms of income. It is becoming an accepted norm. It is becoming the way that we proceed. And finally, the time is now. There has never been a better opportunity than now for you to take it on and start your own side income. Accessing the internet has never been easier. It is still cheap to get onto the internet. The costs of entry are small. The overheads required to stay on there and compete are small. If you have something that you can sell and can offer of value to anybody, then now is the best time. And the final thing that you're going to say is, well, I don't have anything to offer. I don't have any product that I make. If people ask you for advice on anything, if people ask you for help on anything, it is because you know things. It is because you have things of value, and the internet is the place for you to leverage them and get them out there. We're going to finish there. This is the first film in a sequence of films which will build up your knowledge about creating side incomes. Please subscribe by clicking on the red button below. Please give us a thumbs up by clicking on the thumb button below. If you want to get those extra films about specific ideas about what you can do to create a side income earner, then click on the bell and we will make sure that you are notified every time one of our films comes up. There is also plenty of other information on our website, www.sideincomeplanet.com, or if you follow the link there, bit.ly/SIP posts, it takes you to our posts. We post regularly new ideas, new examples of best practice, and how you can get yourself going with the side income earner. Thank you for joining us on this film today. Look after yourselves and stay safe.